Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Thursday. It is ARTober, baby. Thank you so much for being Up+Adam. Now, when it comes to classical music, most of us just hear it. Andrew Sewell, he feels it, and then somehow makes an entire orchestra feel it with him. As the longstanding conductor, also the music director for the SLO Symphony, Andrew doesn't just lead musicians, he shapes sound with the kind of emotional clarity that makes you forget he is even there. In this episode of Up+Adam, we're going to pull back the curtain on what really goes into conducting. He's not just holding some chopstick up there, waving it around. Not just the technique, though, but the soul. What's behind it? You'll hear about phrasing, the storytelling, and what it means to become invisible in service of something far greater than yourself. And oh yeah, we are celebrating ARTober all month long here on Up+Adam. So it's the perfect time to spotlight someone who embodies everything that this month is about. The transformative power of art, the universality of music. It is a word, I checked. And the community that it creates, from conducting Tchaikovsky to even maybe giving me a little impromptu baton lesson. It's going to be a conversation that you won't forget for sure. All right, a couple stories. This one local. You know we are suckers here for young entrepreneurship on this show. We have the two Jacksons from Drip Bros, and also Aiden from Bread and Bros. I just thought apparently Bros is the secret sauce to these young businesses. So this story is local, it's adorable and entrepreneurial all at once. Avila Beach turning into a Shark Tank Junior this weekend. The annual Children's Business Fair is back. I remember having these people on the air a year or so ago. More than 75 booths run entirely by local kids, ages 6 to 17. They're popping up with everything from their handmade jewelry, dog toys, organic granola, and who knows what genius they've cooked up in the garage that we're going to see brand new this year. Who knows? These little bosses did the whole thing themselves. Product, brand, marketing, pricing, the works. They set up, they sell, they handle customers, and yeah, they keep the money. Good for them. Organizers say the secret sauce is us. The more shoppers that show up, the more kids feel that pride, like, man, I built this. This is becoming something. And thus, the more our community wins. So grab a coffee, bring a reusable bag, and be ready to say yes to the pitch. Details: the Avila Beach Children's Business Fair runs 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday, October 11th at the Avila Beach Community Center. Swing by, spend a few bucks, and let's help launch the next generation of local entrepreneurs. Love that story every year. All right, I do have a couple more. This one, entertainment news. 79-year-old Dolly Parton wants to assure us that she is not dying after her sister Freda asked for prayers for Dolly. Dolly posted a video from the set of an upcoming Grand Ole Opry commercial. Quote, "I know lately everyone thinks I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I am working hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease, and I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith." She continues, "I can always use the prayers for any and everything, but I want you to know that I'm okay. I don't think God is through with me yet, and I ain't done working. So I love you for caring and keep praying for me." A rep for Dolly added that she's fine. She's just waiting for a procedure for some kidney stones. Dolly's sister gave an update saying that she didn't mean to scare fans. She was just concerned for her big sister for being under the weather. Quote, "Thank you for lifting her all up. Your love truly makes a difference."
I want you to know that I'm okay. I've got some problems, as I mentioned. Back when my husband Carl was very sick, I didn't take care of myself, so I let a lot of things go that I should have been taken care of. Nothing major, but I did have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home, closer to Vanderbilt. There's just a lot of rumors flying around, but I figured if you heard it from me, you'd know that I was okay.
Legend, huh? Just love her. All right, Halloween is just around the corner. And if none of this stuff is on your October to-do list, you are officially a Halloween hater. A new poll looked up the top fall or Halloween activities that we will take part in this year. Number one makes sense because you don't even have to leave the couch. And number one is watch a scary movie. Almost 50% of folks say they will definitely watch at least one. Consume pumpkin-flavored food or drink, 46%. 43% displaying Halloween decorations. Handing out Halloween candy, down to 39%. Say they definitely will. Another 11% said maybe. Carving a pumpkin, a little less than a third of folks. Visiting a pumpkin patch. Well, how do you get the pumpkin? I guess you can get them at grocery stores now too, huh? 27%. 25% attending a Halloween party, also about the same who are wearing a costume. Taking a kid trick-or-treating, 23%. And finally, playing a trick on someone, 17%. Hayrides just missed the top 10 at 15%, and 13% of folks say they will definitely hit up a haunted house this year. All right, speaking of percent this, percent that, how much do you think you spend per year on tips that you don't think are warranted? I'll set the over-under at too damn much. According to a new report, the average person has paid around $150 in tips that they're not even totally cool with. That just in the past year. Those situations where you don't think that a tip should be expected, like an oil change or something. Now, in this article, it talked about dog groomer. I do tip the dog groomer. I mean, you are supposed to tip the dog groomer, right? When you feel pressured into tipping more than you want, like at a casual counter service restaurant, for a ride service or a hair salon. Again, hair salon, I think you should be tipping there. But when you end up tipping for bad service because it's customary, or maybe you feel bad for the employee, or you don't want to look cheap, $150 across the whole year may seem low, but no. It's mostly just a couple bucks here and there, as opposed to like the huge tips that you would nix entirely. Overall, 65% of folks say they're fed up with tipping. That's up from 60% last year and 53% in 2023. Well, we are the nation of tipping, where they just throw that iPad around, that little like, who invented that? That little hinge, that little ball joint that goes from an iPad where it's facing me to now it's facing you. And all of a sudden it was like boom. That little elbow ball joint must have made someone a grip of money. 62% finally of folks say they'd rather pay more for food and drinks to provide higher wages for restaurant workers and eliminate tipping altogether. You can move to France, baby. That's what they do. I don't know. It is weird. From being an American and going into France, yes, it feels like you're getting a steal, because you're like, first of all, you tip too much, it can look like an insult. So you just tip maybe €1 or $2 after dinner. You're like, oh, damn, that's great. I love that. We should do that at home. But no, you can't do that at home. It's not the same way it works. So finally there, that article on tipping. Look, I am excited to get into our conversation with the one and only Andrew Sewell. He is the music director. He is the conductor for the San Luis Obispo Symphony. And before we get into that chat, let me thank our friends at Life Elements for being up and at 'em. Hidden in the back corner of a plaza in Atascadero, 7425 El Camino Real, Suite O, is a woman literally practicing wellness alchemy. Life Elements is where you can walk in, see things, smell things, feel things being made in real time. Everything small batch, cruelty-free, but most importantly, made with real healing in mind. More than bath bombs, more than aluminum-free deodorants, more than CBD sticks that will change your life if you are experiencing soft tissue pain. More than bug spray even you can believe in and know it's not polluting your pets, your kids, your planet. In addition to their spot in Atascadero, again, 7425 El Camino Real, Suite O, would love for you to go in there and meet these folks. They're just the absolute best. You can also find their products at the Hive in Arroyo Grande, the General Store in Paso, and of course, lifeelements.com. Use the promo code Adam, save 15%. And yes, it's great to use the promo code Adam because you save 15%, but also consider that it's a barometer for them to know that you heard them on the show. And I had a couple people go, oh, this Life Element stuff. I had 2 people tell me this. One this week, one a couple weeks ago, one this week though. Oh, I ordered something online. And I'm like, oh, did you use the promo code Adam and save? They're like, oh no, I totally forgot, but 15%, it's okay, but I'll do it next time. I'm like, oh, that's how they know. That's how they know. So it's all good. I want to save you that 15%, as do they. They're very generous, great people. In addition to their spot in Atascadero, the Hive in Arroyo Grande, you could shop their products. Also, the General Store, downtown Paso. Not sure if I told you that or not. I do like you to know everywhere you can find their stuff. But yes, lifeelements.com. Use the promo code ADAM, save 15%. And yes, go inside. Go tell them you heard them on Up and Adam. 7425 El Camino Real. Let your wellness meet its maker. Life Elements.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, he is the heartbeat behind the baton, the conductor whose presence you might not always see or understand. What is he doing up there, right? But you absolutely feel. Andrew Sewell is in his 9th season now, leading the San Luis Obispo Symphony. And whether he's guiding Tchaikovsky's aching melodies or premiering bold new works by living composers, he brings intention, emotion, and real humanity to every note, this guy. As part of ARTober, the citywide celebration of arts and culture happening all month long here in SLO, and are partnering up with the city of SLO to promote ARTober. I am so stoked. Andrew's joining us to talk music as memory, as art of listening, and yes, even gonna give me a little crash course in how to use that little stick he's waving around. The baton, yes, the baton. Let's welcome the one and only Andrew Sewell, music director for SLO Symphony. Thank you, my man, for being Up and Adam.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
The last time we hung out was at the park.
Yes, it was.
We were at the park bench.
The pickleball park.
Yeah.
Listen to those thumpy.
I know.
Now, there's a thing about the noise level of pickleball.
That's right.
Yeah, people don't like it.
No, because it's got that weird
poppy sound.
Yeah, it's this wiffle ball kind of, and it's loud. Yeah. It's really loud. Mm-hmm. That's so true. And when I'm doing an interview with you, and you hear the pickleball sounds, are you just hearing like metronomes or beats or like
Nothing as sophisticated as that, but yeah.
Do you think in like these weird terms, like when you hear music, are you listening intricately, or are you just enjoying music like we do, like normal people?
Well, I can't have music in the background and just like as noise. I'm always focused on it. So like when people say, I love to work with the radio on, it just drives me crazy, or the television on, or anything that's like that, it distracts me. But back in the day when my kids were little, I used to go to a coffee shop where there's just sort of noise and I can really focus. And then it's funny, when I was out guest conducting or going away and I was in a room by myself with total silence, I'd go, I can't do this. So I'd have to go to somewhere where there's some sort of background noise so I can really focus. So that's kind of a weird thing, a good question to ask. But with getting back to the music question, I generally listen to what's going on around me. I can't be distracted. It just draws me in.
Yeah, well, let's say you're driving, if you're on a road trip, are you listening? A lot of people now, like Gen Z, a lot more of them are like not having anything go on. I love to have music or something. What do you listen to in times when you're on the drive or whatever?
Well, sometimes I'm listening to pieces that I want to learn more about, or just I'm curious about if it's something I'm interested in. Or I like silence, or I just like to talk to my wife if we're together on a road trip. Or we actually enjoy listening to Concert FM New Zealand, because typically it's the middle of the night there, and they have this wonderful like constant music thing, and they're always great choices, and I learn a lot. Because as a conductor, I'm always on the hunt for cool pieces to program, so my brain is always going on that kind of programming trend.
When you listen to classical music, or let's say you're sitting amongst a symphony or listening to music, do you hear the imperfections of the musicians, or do you see the imperfections of the conductor, or both?
Well,
but can let's say you're listening to a piece.
If I'm listening, yeah.
Yeah, and you are a conductor. Can you judge cognitively how that conductor's doing, and if so, is it by something you're hearing, or is it by I like his motions, or I like the way he does? Like, how do you appreciate the work of a conductor you're watching versus the music that they're playing?
That's a really good question. I would put it to more when you're talking at the very top level of orchestras. There is a sound that I can hear, and when there's a certain sound of one of my favorite orchestras, two of my favorite orchestras are the Concertgebouw in Holland, Amsterdam, and the Philharmonia in London, which is really cool. And then, of course, they're all American orchestras. But there is a definite European an American sound. And Chicago, for example, you hear about the brass from the Chicago Symphony, which George Solti, and each major music director has their own flavor in terms of shaping the sound at a really sort of at a level that is very fine-tuned, like a very fine-tasting wine. So back to the question you asked, in terms of the sound, you hear phrasing from an orchestra. You hear what a conductor, man or woman, how they phrase. When I say phrase, it's where the music takes you and how it journeys and how it ends and is shaped. These are things that we hear in classical music, and it's the same in popular music. When there's a strophe or a stanza, and then there's the chorus. Strophe, stanza, strophe, or stanza, chorus, and so there's certain forms in classical music as well that we take, just like in literature, poetry, and a novel, exposition, development, recapitulation. So there are certain things that you get and hear. Then, of course, from going way back in musical history, from the 1600s, 1700s, the Baroque era through the classical era, through the Romantic era, and 20th century and 21st century, these are all names we've given music to kind of, put them in a box or clarify them.
Be able to categorize them.
Categorize, good, that's the right word. So
that's so interesting. And I love how you talk about the phrasing, because that's where, yes, when we go to a symphony, we hear the musicians and their talent and their ability to come together, but that's where you really piece together what you like out of the conductor is their phrasing.
Yeah. So, for example, this week on Sunday, and whenever this program goes to air, it might be last Sunday, we're performing our opening concert with the San Luis Obispo Symphony, and the main symphony on the program is Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5. So he wrote a total of 7 symphonies. 6 are numbered, and then 1 is named. Manfred comes between concert Symphony No. 4 and No. 5. Number 5 is in the key of E minor, and it's called a cyclical symphony. So you open with the opening theme. It is peppered all the way through the second, third, and fourth movements. So in the context of a full symphony, there are 4 movements, and it takes 40 minutes. Okay, but this one theme just keeps coming through, and during the symphony, he's wrestling with some really deep personal conflicts. You can feel it, and he resolves those things in different ways. For those listening may not know that, it's storied that Tchaikovsky eventually committed suicide because he was homosexual and he was caught in a relationship with a young man, and society forbade him in the society. So he was given no choice. It's a terrible, terrible travesty. But knowing that and knowing what he was in his struggles, and I'm not going to try and suggest or say that this is specifically what he's doing, but all I can say is as a musician, I can feel the pain and the anguish, actually. There's a lot of anguish in Tchaikovsky. He is probably the most famous 19th century Russian composer. I mean, of all the composers of Russia, and there's many of them. And he set the stage for those that followed, Stravinsky, Prokofiev, Rachmaninoff. There's this history there. I have a particular affinity with this symphony. I've done it several times. But you asked the question, what about phrasing? And at rehearsal last night, here I am coming to this piece, and I have an interpretation, a feeling about it, and it's my job to express that feeling in motion and word, and with no words, surely just simply my hands, my expression, to shape the music in a way that will convey those emotions that I just talked about. And then also it enlightens, hopefully it's an opening the door to the musicians themselves to feel it the same way as you do. And then ultimately that goes to the audience. Yeah. So in the end, you become invisible as a conductor, and simply it becomes a connection between the orchestra, the sound, and the audience. And you're just the conduit. And the best thing about a conductor is to keep out of the way and let them do it. Yes, you've got a job to do, but you're like the chef, No one sees a chef when you're eating the meal, right? It's done. It's the same idea.
like a winemaker. I interview these
A
winemakers all the
winemaker
time.
too, yeah.
You know, you have this fruit. You just want to stay out of the way, let the vineyard do its thing throughout the whole process.
You got it. So
Yeah. Is it harder, or tell me the differences, the dynamics when you're conducting a piece you've done before versus tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a piece I've never done before? What are the scaries, I get to do this one a little differently. Like, what are all the feelings when you come into one you've already done before and one you've never done before?
that's a good question. So for this concert, we're doing four Black American dances by the composer Carlos Simon, who's currently the composer in residence for the Boston Symphony. This was a commission from 2022. It's a new piece. I happen to have just performed various movements of it recently, so this would be my second time. And yes, but to put that hat on, you study a piece of music and you understand from a visible and technical thing what you might expect to happen and what you expect to hear. But then in practice, certain things happen. And you go, oh, little surprises happen. You go, well, that's a tricky little spot. I didn't know. We'll have to rehearse that a little bit. And then when you get to the rehearsal, it's really like feeling the dough. You know, is it a little sticky? Does it need a little more flour? Does it need a little more salt? And you sort of make the dough. You know, it was proverbial how the sausage is made. You know. But in fact, and then particularly for me, as this is my 9th season with the SLO Symphony, and I really get to know the musicians and the players. I know how they'll respond. I know how quickly they may respond to this piece or that piece, or technically to a tricky passage. So you can hone in on those things to get the job done within the space of a 2.5-hour rehearsal, and then over the course of 4 rehearsals.
So let's talk about what's coming up, because we're just coming into the season. Let's talk about what's later in October or November, because we got some really exciting shows coming up.
Okay. The first one, on Sunday. Okay, so the first one is the opening concert of the season. It's called Symphony on a Sunday. It features 3 works, 4 Black American dances by Carlos Simon, of which we're playing 2. One's called Ring Shout, the other one's called Tap Dance. And it's really a study on the history of the Black American diaspora from, the early days of the music of Ring Shout, when it's from the history of slavery coming all the way through to the waltz, and then tap dance of the 30s, and finally the holy dance, which is like in a modern day black church, and unfortunately we don't have enough time to do those 2 of those movements, because the next piece we're doing is the Brahms Violin Concerto, which was a substitution at the very last minute, which we weren't expecting. We had to switch soloists for February and October due to some issues with visas at the moment. Thankfully, we've managed to keep everything going straight. So the Brahms is a particularly long piece and just needed a little more attention in terms of rehearsal time. And then Brahms Violin Concerto is a major work from the late 19th century, and our soloist is Stephen Merkel. He's from Tucson in Arizona, and he teaches at Northern Arizona State University. Is an amazing violinist, former concertmaster of the Phoenix Symphony. We're very excited to have him. And he's already doing some lessons with some students on Cal Poly campus. And then finally, the last piece is Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5 in E minor, which has 4 movements and is a real testimony to his amazing ability to spin a melody.
Wow. And then how many different shows we have for the season?
We have 5 classical concerts. So October the 5th, Symphony on Sunday, Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Then that's for ARTober. The next concert is in November the 8th, and that features, it's called California Dreaming. It features all 4 American composers. 3 of them are living, and basically with ties to California. We're opening with a piece by Patrice Rushen from Forget Me Nots. She's written an amazing work called Fanfare and Fantasy from the early 2000s, followed by the Eric Korngold Violin Concerto with a wonderful violinist from living in Switzerland, originally from Ukraine, Vladislava Luchenko. She's great. And then in the second half, we're doing a brand new world premiere of Stephen Padell's 2 world premieres. Stephen Padell, local composer, commissioned work from the Gala earlier this year, which his mother has commissioned, 5-minute long work. And then we're finishing with Craig Russell's Symphony No. 2. Craig Russell was for many years the professor of composition at Cal Poly. He wrote this in 2012, and then we were supposed to do it in 2000 before COVID hit. So 5 years later, we're finally getting the world premiere of this work, which is dedicated to his family from New Mexico, and it's got a very American-sounding flavour. It's very Copeland-esque. It's a beautiful, beautiful work. And Craig has done a number of recordings with Naxos, and we're hoping in the future to be able to record this piece.
You know, we're celebrating ARTober all month long with the city of San Luis Obispo, Andrew. And ARTober isn't just a celebration. It's really a reminder that art isn't just, you know, a luxury. It's really a lifeline. And music is this language. It's probably the most universal language of all. So how does the San Luis Obispo Symphony kind of plug into the deeper meaning of ARTober, not just as entertainment, but as really a part of the soul of the city?
Really good question. And thank you for mentioning that. We are one of 4 groups, the opera, the ballet, and a comedian show. So we're very privileged to be part of that and be recognised by the city of San Luis Obispo, and we appreciate that very much. The symphony provides a conduit for community to come together at the PAC and enjoy this art form. Our job is to make it accessible, and part of that is this particular first concert is that we're switching to a Sunday afternoon. It's the first time in my tenure that we've actually had a matinee. We've been talking about it, but it came about by a practical solution to some parking issues during homecoming for the sports game on Saturday night.
Makes sense.
So we thought, let's give it a shot. Let's try it. So for some people who like their Saturday night evening, it may be a bit of an adjustment. It's a one time, we're trying it out. But for many people who don't like to go out at night or need transportation, it's going to be something special. And therefore, that's what we're looking forward to.
I think it's cool because you'll have the whole rest of your day. Maybe you get out there and you go to dinner with the people that you just enjoyed the symphony with. I mean, there's so many options. So I think it's going to be great. And
I think other organizations, the opera, for example, does all of theirs. Operas, they do matinees as well. The ballet does matinees. It's not untoward to have to go to a matinee format for 1 or 2 concerts.
Does the location and the place and the literal space in which you are conducting affect you at all? I mean, from one being in San Luis Obispo, I mean, you've conducted all over the world, but then, being, say, outside of the beach or inside at the PAC, how does that all affect you?
You know, that's a good question. We were at the Pops concert recently out at Avila, and, you know, that's a different atmosphere as well. And you've been a great MC. I'll just shout out to you, Adam. You did a great job last year. And it's a chance for families and friends that may not feel comfortable coming into an indoor space. Also, members of the community that non-white members of the community, just to say it, you know, we have our spaces. And not everyone's comfortable in those spaces. And we want it to be a universal space. So in terms of programming, I want that to also be universal. And so you'll notice that we're doing music by black composers, Asian American composers, women composers. You know, we're continuing that work in terms of broadening the music, the composers and things. Also contemporary music, as this California Dreaming concert that we're going to be doing in November. I know we sort of stopped short of October, November, but we've got 3 other concerts, and maybe it's another time to talk about those.
Well, I'll be happy to have you back in, of course, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about conducting a little bit. Do you always carry a baton everywhere you go?
Not quite, but it's in my bag now. I mean, usually I'm working, and I've got a nice baton case, which let's
see your baton case.
You want to see it?
Yeah. And so this one I was given by the SLO Symphony when I did the 1812 overture for Paso Pops. Look at that.
Oh,
boom.
Yeah. So this is a specially made, handmade case that our stage manager, Thor Larson, made, and this is a baton that he made as well.
He made the baton?
He made the baton, yeah.
Wow, it's like this.
It's indestructible. It's called a Larson.
Wow, look at that.
I'm advertising for
You got
Thor
the
Larson.
you got the
Well, I
length,
have a
yeah.
habit of breaking batons. In fact, I just broke one last night, which I wasn't using his one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes in there, and I don't keep. It's you can buy batons at the local music store, which
Yeah.
I was doing for years and years, but they're delicate things. If you smash it on, you happen to catch.
So this
the
is good.
stand.
This is probably very easily breakable.
Let me see.
Check
Is
that
this-
one out. Check out the structural integrity.
It
Be
is.
careful, though. I know how you are.
Yeah. Oh, it's got slow symphony.
I know, isn't that great? Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice. You got a bulb. Now, some have a bulb, some have a straight thing.
Okay.
You know, you sort of treat it like a pencil. It's an extension
Yeah,
of your
tell me
arm.
how to hold it, and then let's put a song. If I were to put a song on like YouTube right now, so we can do this together, and you can show me with your baton how to. What song should I put on right now? What would be a good song? You can kind of walk me through how we would do this.
Well,
Any song.
Let's just go Stars and Stripes Forever. How about that?
Say it again.
Stars and Stripes Forever, John Philip Sousa. Dun dun da da dun dun dun
okay.
dun dun dun. Bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-da-da-da.
Got it.
Bum, bum,
Okay,
bum,
cool.
bum.
So here we go. Okay, so walk me through this.
1 2 1 2 1 down up down.
So it's a
up.
down-up thing.
Yeah.
And am I holding it right?
Yeah. Okay. So put your hand like this, lay it here, grab it, and then turn your hand over. There you
Okay,
go.
okay.
Now, you notice that it sort of goes off to the side a little bit.
Yes.
So if your wrist is natural, the baton's going to go out that way. If
Okay.
you go like that, you're twisting your arm.
Not good.
And it's also straight on. So anyone straight on is just going to see a little hole.
Conductor tunnel.
So yeah,
You need
right.
to have it where they can see the whole
Yeah.
line.
And then and there's always downbeat is number 1. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So it's a back to front.
So it's
jack.
funny because you're going up with the snare.
1 2. So there's an ictus. There's an invisible line. 1
Oh,
2,
is there? Okay.
1 2. Called the ictus.
That's your XY right there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's exactly right. It's
Got
a
it.
little X and Y. Gosh. And this is just a straightforward 2. It's a march tempo, 120. Quarter note equals 120. That's 120 beats. So it's 2 every second.
Okay. And do you do things with your face? Are you going like? Are you? Okay. You use this hand too. You're telling your cymbal guys over. Are you doing this in your head when you're conducting? Are you doing the sounds in your head?
Yeah, I am.
Really? So like when it's happening, you're going. Boom, boom.
Yeah, you got that. We come back to that. Here come the trombones.
Trumpets. Now, do you ever go like? Do you ever hear a note go like, "Susie, you screwed that one up"? No. Okay.
Because he would have worked all of that up on us.
Okay. So all you're doing is this up and down?
Just it's maintaining time.
Okay.
So if you're thinking of driving, you know, you're driving, your hands are on the wheel, right? You're just driving along. You're not constantly.
Right.
Now here's the piccolos.
Yeah. Oh, you do that good. So you're doing this. I need to mic you up for one of these things and we just listen to what you say. That'd be amazing.
Well, it's internal.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So you've got 2 themes going on. You've got the theme, soft theme, da, 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 and you've got the little counter melody in the piccolos.
Okay.
1 2 1. You got to keep this going.
Yeah.
And here comes the trombones again. Yum.
Well, let's go to the end here. We'll do the big. Oh, the end is coming up. So we got a big finish
This
coming
is
up.
the big finish.
Oh, here we go. So how do you do? Or do you get big?
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom.
And do you do anything? Is all the actions you do for the people, for your musicians, or is it a little bit? Let's be honest. Is it a little bit for them behind you because they're watching you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure.
I think.
It's you're bringing them in. You're like,
yeah. I think there's a difference between the people in front of you and the people behind you.
yeah.
Because they're looking at you from the front and they know what to do.
Yeah. It's a little showy.
If you're being a show off for the
Yeah.
wrong reasons,
It's not for the wrong reasons. You got to do it for the right ones.
right.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that. So from a person,
Can we do a cheers with our batons? So go ahead now.
yeah, I think that, you know, when you see a good actor on stage. You see what they do with their eyes, and they draw you in by the very small motions, you know?
Yes.
And they're in character. So you are somewhat in character when you're with the music. And you are. And there are moments when you have to do what's just enough. There are other times when you have to really like be excessive to get your point across. And sometimes it can be suddenly an explosive reaction or a reactive, and sometimes it's like a ba, ba, or it's a ba, ba. And sometimes when I'm in front of school children, for example, and they want to know what a conductor does, I get them all to say, okay, follow me and say after me, and I just want you to respond to what I do. So I'm going to go la, they go la. Okay. So I go la. Yeah, it's a short one.
Yeah.
So, and if I go la, see?
Yeah.
And they go, oh. Yeah. It's like you compel them without them even realizing it. So there's a technique to that you just respond. And you know, it's like when someone looks at you like this and you go, what have I done wrong? You don't even need, there's an unspoken word about that. It's unspoken. It's the same.
It's amazing. Hey, so you have had quite the summer and we were talking off the air, some personal things. You just recently lost your mom. I mean, really heavy stuff. How do you channel when life throws really big things at you through the things that you love to do, through your talent, through your why you're here, through all those channels of why you're here? How do you use those tough times to like manifest? You know what I mean?
It's my job to do to be on, so that you carry a burden of responsibility. Yeah. And I choose this life. It's my life. It's what I love to do. It's interesting. Having just lost my mother, I was with my family, and you know, I'm the second youngest. I'm the youngest boy, so I call myself the runt of the family. I'm the runt of the litter, and that comes with some certain behavioural things that you do. You sort of run around like a little chipmunk, you know, down boy, you know, and I've always sort of stomped on, and it's like, and then that gives you that kind of feisty firepower. You kind of have to fight and be a scrappy kind of, and I think that has held me fast in my life to sort of go where I want to go and be determined and not say no, have no for an answer. So I think it's given me the grit that's been needed to channel me into conducting. I've wanted to be a conductor since I was 14, and it's very interesting. I bumped into some people from my high school, from my youth group when I grew up, and there were people from our church, and I was going, I haven't seen you in 50 years. And one young guy said, he was a few years younger than me, he said, I always used to look up to you because you've done what you said you were going to do against all odds. And I go, oh, well, thank you. I don't know. Yeah. As an adult, I consider myself very fortunate to be able to do what I do, but I just want to keep being better and striving and being curious. And I think that's the best we can be in anything that we put our minds to, and what you do in your amazing podcasts and your energy and what you draw out of people, it's what you're good at. So hopefully keep going.
Yeah, what a cool compliment that man paid you.
Yeah, it could have came out of the blue. I had no idea. And he was a little fella, like I was maybe I was a junior in high school and he was a freshman or something. Yeah. I didn't even know that. I mean, you know, when you're in a youth group, you see people that you role model. And I mean, I had my brothers and sisters. I had no idea.
Yeah, super cool. That's what life's all about. Well, thank you for sharing, for spending your time here. And you can be able to see the talents of Andrew and, of course, the SLO Symphony. We'll put all the links in the show notes to all of the whole season of what's going on. So we got to have you back again for sure.
Love to do that.
Thanks for being Up and Adam, Andrew. Mm-hmm.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, you can catch Andrew leading the San Luis Obispo Symphony throughout their incredible 2025 season, including their next show, California Dreamin', coming up next month, November. To learn more, grab tickets, check out the full season, slosymphony.org. And don't forget this ARTober. It's part of our month-long celebration. We're celebrating, spotlighting the artists, musicians, performers, and creators who make San Luis Obispo such a vibrant, beautiful, inspiring place to live and love. All the links you need in the show notes at your fingertips. And Andrew, thank you so much. Loved our chat, as always. And don't forget, yes, October in San Luis Obispo, anything but ordinary. It is ARTober, baby. From live performances to public art, museums, and the always fun piano in the plaza. Creativity, it's all around you. Don't miss it. Find your ARTober adventure, slowcity.org/ARTober. And looking forward to next week. We'll put the spotlight on the slow opera. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that! All right, gorgeous outside. It is pretty mild. It's like sunny, but it's not too warm. Even in Paso's not all that warm. You know where it's getting the heat? It's coming up at the beach. That's October for you, baby. The warmest month in California at the beaches, especially locally. October. Well, it's been a gorgeous week. Thanks for connecting with us here. Thanks to our friends Moonshiner Collective for original music on the show called Start Again. Check them out wherever you stream your music, moonshinercollective.com. Also, Timbre Winery, Timbre, Timbre Winery. Oh, you might say Timbre Winery. It's all fine. Just drink it. It's so good. The people are so great. Love Josh and Chiasa Clapper. Taste their wines in the village of Arroyo Grande. They got this beautiful, charming tasting room right near kind of like Mason Bar where all that hotness is going, Rooster Creek, all the activity down there. Check them out. Timbre Winery. Taste their wines. Their Pinot Noir. Oh, they're sparkling. Their bubbles. Check out their bubbles. Yes. And I thank them for the Timbre Lobro Studios. Thank you, my friend, for being here, connecting, listening, sharing this with a friend, and even taking the time, if you haven't yet, to rate, review, subscribe, especially if you listen on the Apple Podcast platform. Most folks do, and you might be. And if you haven't yet, doing that, it's traction. It is traction, baby. So thank you so much for doing that in advance if you have not, and for already doing it if you have. And I appreciate your indulgence as I say that I know in every single show. Thanking the city for partnering up with us would make sense. Say, hey, thanks for supporting local broadcasting, being Up and Adam. I'm loving what Adam's doing with ARTober. Telling Life Elements or any entity that you've heard on here, is huge. We're changing the game here. Radio is no longer the same. And we are a local radio show that's a podcast that's daily. We are literally changing the game, but it is just us doing it, and it is tough. So to do it, we need your help. So thank you in advance. All right, enough of me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow, can't wait. Can you believe it? It's Friday already. Unreal. Look, I appreciate you more than you know. I just feel so much love for this connection and you being there right now. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Till tomorrow, I'm Adam Montiel. Really appreciate you more than you know for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.